right, everybody, we are on now. We are not live, but we are recording. So, I guess I just wanted to start off by how you guys doing. We've got Rose, my buddy War Spirit, and old IT. He's here
Hello.
with us as well. Let me go ahead and go to full screen on this one. Here we are.
Finally did it.
You finally beat it, did you?
Yeah, finally.
So, I don't know, it's just some highlights from the weeks, I guess. Have you guys done anything new this week? Seen anything interesting?
Got to hang out with some family that I didn't expect.
Oh, yeah.
Got
Good.
some new upstairs neighbors who have a new baby, and I think are some relation to rhinos or elephants. I'm not sure.
Right.
That or they all weigh 500 pounds. Also a possibility.
Crack open a cold one.
Yet another reason why I would not want to live in an apartment complex.
Mm.
That one doesn't sound like.
I was about
fun.
to say, I'm too loud for an apartment complex.
Yep, me too.
Well, you could live on the bottom.
I don't know. Like, that's just it, though, is like, I'm surprised I haven't gotten any, like, notes on my door here because of, like, the noises that force out of my mouth when I get scared at things while I'm playing games or startled. Like, for example, like, when I was playing a game with my buddy IT here, I walked around a corner and saw, like, 12 bad dudes, and they decked me, but the noise I made, I wish that he could have got it on video, because it was, oh my god. Anyhow, so I was driving around the Purgatory area, not today, but this was about 2 days ago. I think it was Tuesday. And I say it was about 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm driving back towards Durango, and I see this dog, crossing the street. And if you know Purgatory in Silverton, that's kind of weird for a stray dog to be running around. So I was like really kind of wondering, because it's cold, if it gets cold at night, this little dog's going to be in a lot of trouble. So I start to slow my van down, and I'm curious because it ran across the street towards the trees. And I pull over, and I see 4 other dogs looking at me from the tree line, but they're not dogs. This is when I realized that these are wolves. And
I'm going to rescue the puppy.
yeah, I was like, oh, excuse me, I'm gonna get moving. That being said, they were majestic. The small little gray wolves, but they were so pretty. Oh my gosh, they were so cool. And it's just like, oh, I wish I could have stayed there longer. I wish I wasn't in a rush, because I just wanted to look at them. I've never seen wolves in the wild before. It was really cool.
They were like, look, somebody delivered dinner.
Right, exactly. They're like,
It's even stopping for us.
right?
Meals on wheels.
Yeah, Uber Eats. And that's just it. They were very curious, and I just was like, you guys have a good day. I'm going on.
He's big, but I think we could take him.
Yeah. And so that was kind of the highlight of my week, really. Like all this, like afterwards, I'm like, what kind of wolves are in the area? How common are they? Like, I was just like, oh, I want to see
Probably.
wolves.
Were they timber wolves?
I'm not really sure. They were small, though. They were small, and they were gray, like very
They're probably gray
animals.
Mexican wolves, since
Probably.
they're this close to New Mexico, Colorado, right in there.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Timber.
definitely.
Timbers are
wolves,
big,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah. Timber wolves are like what's in Alaska. They're like a really, really large German
Good-
Shepherd size.
Good sized dog. Right.
Yeah.
A good bow wow. Good boys, for sure. So that's what I dealt with. Other than that, nothing's really new. Job's stressful. My job heavily relates to the COVID crisis. And we've got the whole Omicron variant running around all willy-nilly, acting silly. Which, again, as society has told you, and I was actually having this discussion with Rose not too long ago, was basically the concept of everyone's just kind of like, even on the like left, or even people who like are very religious about COVID safety and stuff like that, the cultists, are just kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of bored of this now. It's kind of old hat. I don't want to do this anymore.
I've run out of fucks.
Right, I've ran out of everything. I'm done with this. And
I have checked my barrel of fucks, and it is dry.
I was about to say, I really do think the issue will starve itself out eventually as far as like society goes, because even for the people who aren't really genuine, even for the people who aren't really like getting the picture already, they're gonna get bored eventually, and they're gonna have to succumb to the fact that it's horse crap. Like, yeah, I believe that, you know, coronavirus is a real thing, and I do believe that for certain individuals it is a real threat. And for those certain individuals, and by no means am I telling you to, go ahead and for your safety stay home. That's just my honest suggestion. Is that something I want to mandate you to do? No. But one of those things that I just kind of had to say is just like, yeah, oh, okay, a virus has mutated. You know what else mutates every year? The flu.
The common cold.
The common cold. You know, the swine flu then turned into the pig flu. And then, you know, when pigs fly. Sort of thing. That's just it, as we run into these things like this. And yeah, so it's called the Omicron, which you had a really good point a moment ago, Rose. I was getting a kick out of that. Because you were saying, like, ooh, Omicron, let's pick that one. Because they skipped 2 letters in the alphabet they're using, which was Nu, N-U, and Z, which is XI. And, you know, for both of those reasons, like, I was thinking the new was skipped because you can't call it, well, the new variant. Or, and, you know, and then XZ is like, well, you can't have people possibly thinking that this is Xi Jinping's doing by any means. You don't want that. It's kind of one of our overlords here. But it is kind of funny. I really like that point. Anyways, guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful night tonight. I hope you've all grabbed yourself some refreshments and are ready to do some talking. Let me go ahead and have a look at my notes real quick. So, what do you guys... hold on. Dang it, I gotta, like, exit this full screen crap that I'm in. Bar discussion. Alright.
If I'd known there was going to be a show tonight, I would have gone and gotten some whiskey or something.
Right. Yeah. It helps things flow. It helps things go. I was about to say
I know. Well, I did. It's funny because let's see, Monday night when family was here, we all went for a walk, and I walked over to the liquor store because one of them is a prolific bourbon drinker, and so I was like, oh, I should get them something. And I got some Maker's Mark 46, and I sent it with them. Unfortunately, so
right, dang.
I'm sitting here going, God damn it!
I've heard Maker's Mark is pretty good, though.
Maker's Mark is good. It's definitely one of those whiskeys that if I'm sitting in an airport lounge and I'm waiting for my flight and I'm, you know, just kind of wanting to sit there and get a drink before we take off, it's one of those ones you can kind of count on to be a good, decent whiskey. Yeah, it's consistent. It's good over ice. Good on its own. And it's you can usually find it. So that's one of those ones that's like a go-to. That, you know, you're not sitting there going,
safe bet.
I don't know what is that? And then, you know, being an airport lounge, you're looking at paying $12 for, you know, a finger of whiskey. And it's like, right, I don't want shit.
It's like the Disneyland bar.
Enjoy this. Yeah. And I mean, that's cheap. I mean,
$30 for a freaking shot. Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of Disney, I had an 18-year-old McKellen at the Irish pub out there at Disney Springs or whatever the hell it's called now. $58 for a finger of whiskey. I literally went down the road and bought an entire bottle for the same cost.
Exactly.
I was like, that was some bullshit.
So, in the grand, like, scheme of things in our notes, I was looking at this. And so is Smollett his first name or his last name?
Jesse Smollett, so Jesse's his first name.
Okay.
I thought it was Josie.
Jesse.
Is
Or
it Jesse?
It's Jussie.
Okay.
G-U, it's S-S-E.
I thought it was
Jussie.
J-O-S. I thought it was J-O-S-I-E.
Imagine spending all that time in the womb just for your mom to freaking name you Jussie. Stupid. It's like worse than being named Mercedes. Any point?
I was thinking it'd be worse. I think being named something like Placentia is probably worse.
Placentia. That was an actual name we heard about.
Yeah.
In any case,
It's a good one.
what is Smollett going through right now? What kind of trial is he getting himself into? What's he being charged with?
For those of you who don't, maybe our listeners who don't remember, Jesse Smollett is an actor. I can't even actually tell you what he was on. I never watched the guy.
I was trying to remember.
But he was on some TV show that was really popular. I forget what it was called, where they were like basically like the black gangster rap kind of stuff. But during the Trump years, he actually hired two former friends of his that were actually Nigerians, so they were black as well, to put a noose around his neck and take pictures of him and make it look like these white rednecks beat him up and make it into a racial...
Didn't he say that they like poured bleach on him or something like that?
Yes.
I have a vague memory of this.
Country is what he said that they said.
It seems highly unlikely because wasn't it in like Brooklyn or something?
I can't tell you where it was. I don't remember.
Chicago.
I'm pretty sure it was somewhere, in the New York area, East Coast.
It was a big, generally blue city.
Right. Yeah, spot on.
So that makes it even more unlikely that would happen.
So
if he was walking from the Tennessee mountains, maybe.
These two friends later came out and admitted, hey, he paid us to do this, yada yada yada. So now they actually are those two friends testified today in court, basically explaining that he paid them to do this. And we'll see where all that comes out. There hasn't been a whole lot of information out there on the interwebs about it.
What's the charge? What are they charging him with?
So the charge is basically making a false police report, and then also something about making because he drummed up even support from the vice president on this. She came in and said, this is clearly racial, So it's basically, forget how they worded it, but basically accusing somebody of a racial hate crime and it being false.
Right.
Like defamation in a way.
Yes.
Okay. That's very interesting. Because I was sitting back, I'm like, well, I mean, it's hard to say as far as because, sorry, it's probably clear that it's a fraud. What they're trying to do now, and this is what I expect the defense attorneys to do, is probably more along the lines of why I was even the same reason I was like, well, what's the charge there? Is probably where the defenses are going to take that and be like, oh, well, you can't charge him too much. He was lying, but lying is not illegal.
Well, it's going to be a waste of police resources for one, because they launched a massive investigation and it cost a lot of money because there was a manhunt on for people who didn't even exist.
Yeah.
Which, it's justified.
It's going to fall in the same realm to a greater extent of doing something like calling in a fire when there isn't one.
Right. Well, this has happened time and time again on the left. If you guys remember the African American NASCAR driver that claimed that there was a noose.
Didn't it?
Yes, right after, like 2 weeks after. He claimed that the pull cord on the garage was tied into a noose, which they showed a picture of way like a long ways away, and it wasn't a noose.
It was a hand loop.
Yeah, you got to have a little loop to put your booger hooker in to be able to pull the garage door down.
Right. It's like it was a crazy year last year. I remember all these things flying around, and I was just kind of. I'll be honest with you, I found it hilarious, all of it, because it was all just obviously Jesse Smollett was a fraud from the get go.
He was in 2019. He was long before any of the rest of the crap that was going on.
I remember hearing about him before I graduated high school.
Yeah, that's right. That was right before COVID-19.
And the reason I mentioned him and the NASCAR driver, so both of those also not only had local law enforcement tied up, there was FBI investigations on this. So
Lord
it made it a
above.
federal issue. And I think that's pretty much the reason why there's a trial.
Yeah.
Because now it's federal perjury.
It just makes sense. Oh, what a deary mess.
Yeah.
That was not worth it.
Right? Oh, shit.
No.
My actions have consequences. Damn it.
It seems like you might have just shoved a grenade up the butthole of what might have been your career.
Yeah, this goes.
Goodbye.
What's the sign language?
I think it would be more like.
Was it like? Hold on, I'm trying to get this in the camera. Is it like this right here?
What?
It's like, yeah, that right there.
Could be like this.
Right. What was that for? Is that Spaceballs?
Spaceballs.
Yeah, is that
Emperor?
Classic, dude. Oh man. Oh, speaking of funny films, possibly one of the funniest incidents in filming industry time. Well, actually not funny because I forgot. Actually, people died.
It's a tragedy because somebody died.
Yeah, I was about to say my bad because I just remembered that somebody actually died. Actually, I think one person
if he'd
died
shot himself in the foot, it would be hilarious.
Yeah, but he shot like the screenwriter or something, like the co-screenwriter.
So here's how I've heard it so far. There's discrepancies in this, but they all kind of fall the same, so I tend to think it was kind of pretty much it. And we're going to find that out pretty soon with his whole court case that's coming up. He was doing this scene, and they'd done it several times. And you know how some of these prima donna rich actors are. They, don't like being told what to do. And the screenwriter asked him, can we do it one more time? And he looked at the screenwriter, cocked the revolver, pointed it at him, and said, how about I just effing kill you? And dropped the hammer. And the reason I say drop the hammer. Yeah. So it went through the screenwriter and into the director. He's now claiming, I never pulled the trigger. I would never do that. I would never point a gun at someone and pull a trigger. That's unsafe. Then how did he get shot? Was it magic? Were these magic bullets? Maybe these bullets are from the same place that Jack got his beanstalk beans.
I need to pull up a clip from Steven Seagal talking about Bruce Lee's son from The Crow, where he's like, the first thing they did was call me, and I told you you're gonna find a bullet in him. If it was a gun, you're gonna find a bullet in him, and they were like, no way, there's a bullet in him, but I knew.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because it was like, there's no way that they this guy just got shot, and instead of like calling an ambulance, they're like, you know who I need to call? I need to call Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
it's Steven Seagal.
I need to call that washed up guy who does a lot of kung fu films.
Hey, Rose, Do you want me to laugh in your face?
Right. Dude, he cracks me up.
I'd rather not smell your halitosis. Thank you.
That dude kills me. Like, oh man, Steven Seagal. We could talk about him all day. We actually,
Yes, he's...
for a while, we watched a lot of his films. Like for a week straight, we'd come in here at night and we just watch different Steven Seagal like self-produced films. Absolutely.
Sounds like
experience.
like the neckbeard who's been following me around at the gym.
Right.
Who's giving me lifting advice and can bench 50 pounds, and I'm going, right.
I know more than you. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever heard of this? You should be doing this. You're working yourself too hard. Really. And you look like a potato in a sweatsuit. Fuck off.
Right.
Tell him.
Yas, queen, yas.
Yas, queen, yas.
So what he's arguing is like that the bullets just kind of flew out of the gun, you know.
So he's
because
giving
guns,
he's giving the
guns
typical...
just shoot people. Guns just shoot people.
That's what, yeah.
Right. Guns are
I think
scary.
I probably could set my 9mm out on the bed, and I could come back several hours later, and it wouldn't have shot anybody.
Right.
I could put one in the chamber, and it still wouldn't have shot anyone.
Right. That's just it. And it's just like, what is this mental nonsense that we've gotten ourselves into? And I don't think that's going to fly in court, especially if they have anyone in the jury who knows how to gun.
Have any witnesses? Well, considering it happened in New Mexico, it's going to be tried in New Mexico. So the chances are pretty good that they'll have a jury of people who know how guns work.
Right, because even our Democrats around here have guns. They don't support them, but they have them.
It was near Santa Fe, so I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where.
We're kind of, it is kind of funny. I love looking at our.
I'm sure he's working real hard to put grease the right palms right now.
Right. Well, he's got the money, so let him. Out of all the people, though, he's actually the least, in my opinion, one of the least guilty people we're going to be talking about tonight. Because we're going to be bringing up some updates with the old Ghislaine Maxwell, that lovely, lovely lady and her boyfriend who have left a string of a mystery for all of America to figure out just how deep does this well go. So what's the update? What's going on? Like, so you were telling me, War Spirit, that they're doing exactly what we said they would do about a year ago.
Yeah, copy. So we talked a year ago about, they're most likely going to try her. They set the trial, and we were both bantering back and forth, and we hit the nail on the head here at Is Day the Media. Because she's using that,
but I'm just a poor girl, and Jeffrey took advantage of me too, and it's not my fault. And I saw these girls going in and out of his bedroom, and I just didn't know what to do.
And so you helpless dame, you're just so
exactly
pathetic.
She's the It's so funny. The left, when it suits the left, women are women, and they're fragile and they're so, you have to take care of them and all this. When it suits them,
there's no way that Sarah could pull the trigger.
Oh no, I don't need no man. They want it both ways. You can't have it both ways, darling. I'm sorry.
Especially in this case.
No.
It's like, come on, man.
Well, after having heard the witnesses, the victims of this speak, all of the Jane Does who have come forward.
Yeah.
Every single one of them so far has said she was a party to it and participated, not every single time, but on several occasions participated in these lewd and horrific acts against children.
Correct.
And,
the maids, the cleaners said that they all the time had to go around picking up and disinfecting and washing toys and putting them back in the drawers. That was like a regular thing.
Right.
They constantly had to the massage room had to go around cleaning up bodily fluids, that kind of thing. That was actually testified to. It'd be a very disgusting trial, but I wish they would televise it, because see, this is just the parts that I've been able to find in text. It makes you wonder, like, good Lord, what else was said in this courtroom? And there's a victim, and I don't say alleged because I believe they're all victims. There's a victim that's going to testify tomorrow that had some dealings with our former New Mexico governor at the island.
Richardson.
Yes.
Mr. Venezuela trip? Mr. Corruption? I'm shocked.
Correct.
The king.
Do you see my shocked face?
Right, New Mexico's Cuomo.
Very shocked.
Let's see who worked for Bill Richardson at the time as an aide. Was a little short midget lady that has a Spanish name, but she's like whiter than me.
Could it have been that Michelle Lujan Greaseham?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Could have been her.
She worked for Richardson at the time, and I'm wondering in this trial if it's going to come out that she was there.
That'd be cool. Well, I mean, that wouldn't be cool, but it would be.
Yeah, it wouldn't. I'm not. I hope none of these girls were hurt by anybody else. But
that being said, it would be like, if that comes out, because like we have been suspicious from the get-go of our own governor, because she's got her hands with Bill Richardson. And even after this whole thing where Epstein and the Zorro Ranch and everything else has come out, how come there hasn't been state troopers sent to Zorro Ranch? How come there hasn't been federal investigations?
Yep. It is the only property of Epstein that has not been searched.
Right.
To this day.
And it's just one of those things, I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, well, surely somebody high in government, especially at least in the local area, must be saying, well, no, don't touch that. Or, well, we don't have any reason to touch that. Don't worry about it.
Well, it's got to go higher than local, because the governor has no way to stop the feds.
That's true.
Not in that case.
She does have a lot of money, but it does make me wonder. Yeah, you're right, because there is obviously, like I said, the nameless people that we don't know about that are involved with this.
Well,
the people who are actually in charge.
There's also So around his ranch, and this is another reason why I've heard claims why the FBI hasn't gone there. There's so many different people who own pieces around his property that it makes it real hairy to go through and stuff. And there's someone that testified yesterday that owns 40 acres right next to Zorro Ranch. It used to be part of Zorro Ranch. And Epstein's former pilot... let's see. I got his.
I can't pronounce his name.
It's Lowski. I can't either. Look it up.
Carl Brendolowski from Aquitaine Under Fours.
There you go. It's one of those Owski names. But anyways, he was the Epstein's pilot for long time. He testified yesterday, and it's kind of interesting because you think, this guy had to have seen some stuff, right? Because he was the pilot of the Lolita Express.
Right.
What doesn't necessarily mean he looked back at what was going on. He was in the pilot seat, wasn't he?
But he did, though, because he testified and said that Epstein often told him that he was welcome to use the restroom. Well, the restroom was at the back of the plane. So he had to walk the entire length of the plane because there was a co-pilot,
Oh, right. Yes, of course there should certainly be that.
So he had to walk, his claim, he had to walk the entire length of the plane to use the restroom or get coffee, which as Epstein always, he said, encouraged him to do so. and never told him that he was not allowed to go back, no matter who it was, whether it be any of these girls or Bill Clinton himself. Now, his claims, which is hilarious, because you look at the picture of these girls, and anybody with a brain can tell they're not over 18. I mean, most of them, anyways. I mean, I can. I look at them, I'm like, that looks young. That's a kid.
Looks like a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He claims, well, I didn't know they were underage. I just thought they were all mature women. But see, come to find out, he owns 40 acres that Epstein gave him. Epstein paid for his 2 daughters' college education, among many other things. And, of course, he had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, of course. So all this stuff still, I mean, I understand Jeffrey Epstein's dead, but he doesn't want to lose his land or anything, so he's not going to admit to any of this. And plus, if he admits that he saw Epstein, hammering one of these girls, he's just as guilty. He's not going to admit that.
Yeah, it's a very useless testimony. It's like
it's
like having Epstein himself come and testify,
right.
Come out here and be like, "Oh no, I didn't touch them women."
Correct.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
that's one of the reasons that Epstein killed himself, is because there are all of these people who were around him who the FBI could have easily flipped. Because all they would have had to have done is been like, all right, here's full immunity. Tell us what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's taken himself out of the picture. They don't have much that they can offer them. Not really. Because
all
the
they got to do
charges
is keep their mouths shut.
Yeah, I was about to say the charges against Ghislaine are not the same charges that would have been going against Epstein. She's being charged with things like transporting minors across, it's more of a transportation issue.
Trafficking issue.
Well, no, it is a trafficking issue, but not on the same
context.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. It's not like you're the ringleader of doing this thing. It's like you may have helped, but they can't pin the same amount on her and actually get as big a fish.
Are they? I didn't look into that. Are they charging her with statutory rape though?
They may. Maybe they have. I'm not sure. Because as it's coming out, that's exactly what they're saying happened.
Yes.
But it may not be statutory rape itself. It may be, I don't know, some weird charge as being like a party to, or I don't even know what they would say. As far as more like she was assisting.
Yeah. I guess you could call it that.
So what they would have to try and pin on her is like, okay, Epstein ordered this, but she facilitated it. Yeah. So what does that charge look like? Aiding and abetting a criminal, I guess. Except
aiding and abetting, but also,
because they convicted him of anything.
She is the one that recruited the girls too, so I don't know what kind of charge that would be.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's
so messy because it's just like there's obviously
there's so many victims, right, and there's so many locations, and they estimate clients.
Over 90 underage girls went through the island, and that's just the ones they know of.
A lot of victims. 90 people.
Now that we got the actual facts out of the way, let's put our tinfoil hats on for a minute. Okay, got them firmly on. Take a sip of your preferred beverage. Apparently, I've been doing some research into Little St. James Island. That's the orgy island, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Pedo Island.
Correct. I guess back in World War II, there's claims that it was a submarine base.
Sorry.
And now, since that has come out, and I guess that is factual, But now there's all kinds of claims that there's like underground or underwater caverns, where submarines could come and go. And at first I thought, what? But there is proof. This is weird, that Ghislaine herself got training and a license to operate a submarine when she was in Europe.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing either.
Oh,
but
yeah,
apparently,
you just go down to the submarine licensing center down in Berlin.
I want to say it was Denmark or something.
I was about to say, I'm gonna guess it might have been maybe like
Amsterdam
St.
or
Petersburg.
something like that. Like, it's always something silly. What a concept. Yeah, let me go get me submarine license today.
Yeah, apparently she got training to operate a mini sub. Now, how does that all tie in? I don't know. There's all kinds of speculations. That's how they were getting the girls in and out of the island, and that's how they got the dead bodies out and all this. I don't know.
It's just, it's like, a part of me is like, yeah, these, but it also kind of ties into the bigger scheme of things.
I'm always very careful of this because you start going down this road and you end up sounding like the guys, yeah, just wait, Trump's going to take back over. Woo!
Trump's going to come back, he's going to take back the country.
Yeah, I that's not
going to happen, guys. Like, I'm sorry, Trump is out of the picture. Forget him. You are just as obsessive over Trump as the people who still, like, I'll be out on Facebook and I'll see somebody be like, you guys, this reminds me of how bad Trump was. And I'm just like, you guys are still on that? And it's the same thing with the conservatives. Like, they'll be out there and it'll be something completely related.
Prophesied.
Yeah, it was prophesied.
Don't you believe in prophecy?
All right. My prophets said that Trump was going to come out of Cheyenne Mountain with dual-wielding 357s and shoot Nancy Pelosi right in the kisser. Kapow. It's like a Steven Seagal movie.
Well, they're probably way about the same.
Yeah, I was about to say, have Steven Seagal play as Trump. That'd be a cool movie.
Okay, I might actually watch that.
That would be pretty good.
In a world where the Kung Fu Master has orange skin, one man.
Imagine, dude. Come with
Comes
me,
to
Ivanka. If you want to
comes
live.
back to beat the coronavirus pandemic. He has a cure.
Yeah.
But the deep state.
Oh,
President
Trump, your man not gonna get you.
Shut up, Xi Jinping.
Have like a bunch of dudes like hurdled up against dude. Have like
Have guys in Power Ranger outfits flipping towards him.
Yeah.
Oh!
Dude, it's like a bunch of dudes are like hurdled up. They like got American flags on their shoulders. We're pinned down. We need help. And then here comes like Donald Trump Seagal with this huge gut and like a suit on and with like a freaking flare gun in his hand. Comes walking up.
So hold on. I have to call in a favor. He puts the flare gun up in the air, shoots it, and an eagle comes down and devours him.
It's just some like last ounce of courage type shit. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but oh my god. That, it's just like, that's just it. It's like, guys, like, jokes aside, Trump's out of the picture. We need to stop thinking about him, stop fetishizing him, and I'll agree first that he did fantastic things for this country, but as we've seen, it's over now. It's gone. It's been erased. Every trace of anything Trump has done good for this country is gone, and he's not coming back. He's not going to rise up and come to you and call in an airstrike on the powers that be because you disagree with him. He's not coming back. He's done. Yeah, he'll still be talking point like, yeah, I'm a conservative. I believe in gun rights, and also Jesus is a pretty cool guy. I know him personally. Met him. He's a pretty cool guy. Built my porch out back on the tower. Really like that Jesus guy. Really cool guy.
That came out more as Carmen than Trump, but I like it.
Cartman,
Jado.
All right. Oh yeah, Cartman. I got my headphones on, so I don't know what accent I'm doing. But that's just it.
That's okay.
Like,
I can't do Trump very well either.
Yeah,
I do Bill Clinton. That's my favorite one to do. You know what I'm saying? I was over on that Lolita Express, but the pilot, he said he never saw anything, so it wasn't me. I didn't know these girls were
they even got me on camera. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
And so yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Like, I mean, I am glad that a lot of this is coming out to light. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh man, we don't want to talk about it. It's nasty. It's gross. It's uncomfortable. Imagine how those little girls must have felt, man. Like, after everything is said and done, those children, now grown, living their whole life after something like that, like, knowing that these people that they've helped with, that they've, that they were forced into servitude under, are so powerful, and there's nothing we can do, and there's nothing we can say, and are constantly silenced, now have a breakthrough, and the entire country is just ignoring it. And that breaks my heart. That really does. Like, I couldn't imagine the defeated feeling that we're having as, like, Maxwell just gets more and more legs up in court. Like, oh, no, we don't don't mention them as children. You can't say that. They weren't children.
Yeah, they almost got that put in. Now, what we've learned from, and I didn't know this until watching the Kyle Rittenhouse case, there are certain things that if you get the judge to agree to, that they can't say or bring up. For example, in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, the defense was not allowed to bring up Joseph Rittenbaum's the fact that he raped 9-year-old little boys.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to talk about that.
They weren't allowed to talk about that.
In my opinion, is paramount evidence, but hey, we got
Yeah, I agree. But they almost got the judge to agree not to call these, quote, alleged victims minors or children.
F off. That's all I got to say about that. These people diddled children.
Right.
Correct.
Children.
14. As young as 14 years old.
That they know of.
My daughter.
That they know of.
Yeah, that we know of. My daughter is 1 year away from that. And I guarantee it. I will say it live on the air. You touch my kids and I will kill you.
Right.
I will do it publicly, and I don't care if I get caught.
I don't care if it's in broad daylight in front of the freaking 7-Eleven and you're walking out with your handy. You're getting a cap in the back of the freaking spine. You're done. And that's just the frustration with it, is like, everyone hates pedophiles. Like, I guess everyone hates pedophiles except pedophiles. But that's just it.
Age is just a number.
Age is just a number, yeah. And now they're even pushing this whole...
They're just minor attracted people.
Yeah, and that's what's coming around too. Yeah, the MAP
fucking
movement.
Die.
Yeah, die in a
fucking
fire.
Die.
And that's something that I have been happy to see. And I'm not surprised by this, that the LGBT community is sitting back like, what are you doing? Like, no, we don't want you. You're not going to add your own little crap to the mix.
There should be no pee.
Yeah. Hello, Tier. How you doing? Welcome to the show. But yeah, there should be no MAP in LGBT. Basically, there should be none of that. Mm-hmm. And they all agree.
There won't be.
Right, and I hope so. And that's just it. And I'm hoping
the thing is though, it was back in 2010, 2011. I was talking about this to people, and I said, "Well, what's next?" It was back when Obama, made it to where gays in the military, marriage, and all this. I said, "Well, what's next?" I said, "Can I marry my donkey now?" "Oh, you can't do that. That's they're not going to do that." "Okay, well, can I marry a 9-year-old?" "No, where it's a slippery slope, and you started down it."
Well, the main point being is my main fear is, because I understand, like, you know, be you gay, be you whatever, I don't think that most gay people are like that, or they support pedophilia at all. Most gay men or gay women want someone around their age or older, in a lot of cases. And, you know, for the most part, that is one thing that your conservative and your average gay person can get along with, is that pedophiles need to burn. Statistically speaking, you know, if we're really going to get into it, not most, but a huge amount of homosexuals, and this is just fact, have suffered trauma as a child concerning sexual attacks from predators, be it in their family or elsewhere. And so what I do worry about, though, is that the media pushes a new agenda, especially being that the media is owned by the same people who ran the whole Epstein thing, that the media goes about pushing an acceptance of MAPS and certain other aspects of that area to the point where they convince some of the lesser convicted people in this area to start saying things like, "Oh, well, don't be against them. That's just bigoted." Like, that's the new acceptance.
It's gonna happen. They even have their own flag now, like the gay flag.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pedo flag, whatever you want to call it.
Now, there's no doubt in my mind that the average LGBT is going to be like, this is not what we fought for. This is not what we support. This is not what we are aiming for
These
at
are
all.
not the rights that we fought for.
Exactly. You know, we wanted equality with the modern day straight couple, which is what your average sane LGBT member will say. I'm not so sure about the T part. A lot of them are truly insane.
Well, that's just it, though. Where do you draw the line? Because in my humble opinion, it's all mental disorders.
That's fair. But that being said, mental disorders don't always accept new mental disorders, but it's also hard to say.
The line, and I'm just going to put this out there, is the ability to consent.
That's it. That's the one. Because even a transvestite, as much as I think that's completely weird and bizarre and bonkers and completely, you know, people are faking it, like as far as pretend insanity, they aren't forcing that on children. Unless they're, of course,
drag
a pedo,
queen story time.
Right, there is that. You know, you have a really good point with that. But, you know, like I said, Rocky Horror Picture Show, like all this other stuff, like, yeah, you know, I don't really support that movement. I'm a Christian, and I think that movement is depraved. And I think that entire area is, of course, of an immoral stand ground. But that being said, I do hope to see them speak out more if they really want to keep any amount of legitimacy in a moral department. That any gay rights activists continue to speak out against MAPS, because I'm okay with gay marriage. You know, I'm not gay in whatever, but I'm okay with that being none of the government's
That's not
business.
what I've heard. I thought you two were a thing.
All right.
We are.
Come here, babe. I was about to say it's sad we have Rose between us on camera because I just
I'm the cock block. That's what I am.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Keeps us from acting up too much.
Stay away.
But
Stay away.
Even though me and War Spirit are in a very homoerotic relationship, we would never allow pedophilia. Ever.
But I mean, the thing is it's like it's one thing to have, you know, to influence kids to dress up like a drag queen. It's another thing to influence children and say, or not even influence children, but to assault them.
Right. And that's again,
and that's the thing. I'm going, the line of consent is where that line is. And you can take a kid and say, "Oh, but you love this. It feels good." It doesn't matter. There is the line of consent. Period.
Right. Well, see, the whole dressing up though and all that's grooming.
Right.
That's getting them to say, "Oh, this is I like this." You know, they got the the kids that are in the gay rights parade walking down through there, and you look over to the left, and a guy's schlong's hanging out.
It is worthwhile to be said that there is a shocking amount of criminal convicted pedophiles that have relations to the movement, or rather, but that's just another thing I'd like to say too, is no matter what, parties are bad for this reason. Like example, the LGBT party is no different from the Republican or the Democrat party in the sense that they are not good at representing on the individual level. So if the LGBT party proceeds to accept maps, I suppose I wouldn't be surprised. But I do know...
They will. Mark my words.
Right.
There's going to be a few that won't, but for the most part,
that's just it. On the individual level, there's going to be tons of homosexuals who are completely against it. The LGBT won't recognize them anymore, and it'll be a lot of infighting. But I do hope that their voices are heard, because I think everybody has, especially in the case of preventing pedophiles. And I don't care what anybody tells me. You can't say that. That's bigoted. I will go to freaking jail for hate speech against pedophiles before I get anywhere near of like, well, I guess I could understand.
I'd go to jail.
Yeah. Because there's
it's just like when they started like saying that dudes can go into women's restrooms.
Right. Like,
because this dude recognizes himself as a female. And I said, you watch, there's going to be problems with that. And when they started doing that in these big cities and stuff, there has been assault after sexual assault.
Right.
In these
But that being said, society as a whole, now, society has lost its mind. And I am quite saddened by the simple fact that, yes, we will probably see a weird, out-of-nowhere acceptance because of how the media is able to manipulate and change the face and opinions of people across the board. Just like, because it's like this little god that tells you when to believe it and what to believe, when to believe it. And we're going to see some nasty crap. Like, as we've seen, things have just gotten more and more depraved, more and more nasty, more and more vulgar, including children, like you were saying, in these in these parades that are exclusively about sex. And, that's just it. As we are getting to these points that have been mentioned in Scripture and a lot of other places. Now, like I said, I am an individualist. I don't associate people with groups of opinions. I associate people on the individual level. What do they believe? And I think everybody here can understand that. And like I said, I hope that the voices that people like care about and follow, like popular gay stars and stuff where people will listen to that, like that are on the other side of things, will listen to them instead of the media when it comes to, well, I didn't want this. I didn't want this. And it's just, again, it's not much, but it's another line in the defense against normalizing something so wickedly evil. In fact, I can't name anything more evil in this planet than pedophilia. There is not one thing like more evil than that. Somebody could be like, oh, well, genocide. I'm like, well, that's just murder of one person at a time. Imagine, like, Epstein is basically a genocide version of rape. Just raping. And for that to be like, well, yeah, we're okay with that.
And see, the worst, the thing that makes it even worse than traumatizing or attacking an adult is when you attack a child, you steal their childhood from them. You steal their safety. You have mentally damaged them for life, and it will take them their entire life to not even get over, but just to live with, to cope with. It will color every aspect of everything that they do. From every relationship that they have, be it a friendship or romantic or a parent to a child, their ability to trust will be forever damaged. Their ability to function in society is completely destroyed. And that is what makes it especially evil.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, most adults have some understanding of what happened or why it happened, and it lends you a level of moving forward. Whereas a child who is innocent does not understand why this thing happened to them at all.
And to put it quite simply is a verse from Matthew 18:6. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. And that's just it. You know, that there is no other crime in Scripture that is like literally telling you you'd be better off just dying than doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just it right there. You know, Jesus is like saying, if you're gonna do something like that, you'd better off just, you know, do it to yourself. And that's just it. You know that
because what's coming for you is infinitely worse.
Oh yeah. And here it is today, the day media. We, you know, let it be the last phrase we ever said. You know, we stood up in a time where everybody else was saying, yeah, go crazy. Everybody's accepted. Age is just a number, baby. Free love. Yeah, we don't follow that.
No, the fuck it ain't.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, Tyr, you would know.
Yeah, I will do worse to you than just shoot you if you touch my children.
Oh, yeah.
You'll wish for death by the time
We're
I'm
talking
done.
intestines instead of Christmas lights all around that house.
At the very least. I'll feed you your own skin.
Right?
I will pull every blood vessel from your body and I will line your floor with it.
The things I will do.
See,
have you ever seen my dildo collection?
I will make you into a lampshade.
Right. While you're still living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
make
use you as an
watch
example.
as it happens.
This is going on the internet. I'm already going to prison, probably for, you know, and getting a death sentence. That's fine. Right. I'm going to use my time well.
Oh, they'll give you a death sentence, yeah, but I know they will never give the death sentence to a sexual predator because, you know, that's just it.
He'll be a vegetable. He'll wish a death sentence would be a kindness.
Right. Because he's going to spend the rest of his days sitting in front of a television playing the same recording of Barney in a freaking home for the rest of his days.
Pretty much. In a human, you know, in like basically a giant condom suit because he won't have any skin.
Right. Jeez. And that's just it. Guys, if any of you listen to this, pedophilia ain't cool. And we're gonna go about every way we can. In this case of Maxwell, because Zora Ranch is right in our backyard. That's right here. And I've read countless stories of little people, children, going missing in my area. And it makes my heart wrench to think that maybe, and I mean, it's sad enough as it is, but that little child went missing because of some big organization that has its hand in government and corporations and is so large and so prolific and intimidating right here in my own backyard. That should not scare you, but it should make you furious. How come Zorro Ranch has not been searched? This is children that have been harmed here. These are human beings who have been taken advantage of at a young age to pleasure people who are too rich, apparently, to have to pay for their crimes. That is infuriating. It's frustrating. And we should all be sick of it, no matter what our political affiliation is. Let us unite on this one topic, on this one subject, that pedophiles must always be brought to justice. That's my point with that. And so I think we've said a lot of our points on the show. If anybody else would like to add anything on any topic, feel free. It's kind of open mic. If you think we've covered everything we were to talk about tonight, I can go ahead and wrap us up.
I'm good.
All right.
I dare not incriminate myself anymore.
All right. War Spirit, you have anything else?
I'm good.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure chilling with all you. Kind of a darker episode. We didn't get into the funniness as we usually do, but it's because we're talking about a very serious issue at hand that honestly doesn't bring any smiles to our faces, not even in a joking light. These are victims, and our hearts are very heavy. And we hope that all those, not just the people we hear about, but the people in the back end, behind the curtain, are brought out and thrown into the light as well. So, Lord, thank you for our audience. Thank you for everybody who's continued to listen to us, Lord. Lord, I pray for your will be done in the case of Maxwell. Lord, I pray that everyone involved with this great evil be brought into the light, Lord, and that your wrath and your just revenge, as you see fit, is exacted upon them, Lord. I pray for the country, Lord. I pray for our president. I pray for the people involved, that we all learn how to be strong in these trying times with the coronavirus, where we have been taught to fear and have been taught to submit, Lord, that we rise up and that we stand strong and never live on our knees, Lord. Give us strength, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. It is Today the Day Media, Rose, War Spirit, IT, Tier, and Jonathan of Vigilance. Have a good night.